Hey again everyone, and welcome back to the channel for another figure showcase special. And it's funny, I kind of meant to do this earlier, but life got in the way, as it always does, right? So now that Loki season 2 is over and the holiday season is in full gear, it just seemed like a good opportunity to look back at the season 1 line we got from Hot Toys. And this was a line where I ended up actually picking up every figure that was released and every character. One, I loved the show and the first season, and two, I actually really thought the figures were amazing pieces. I've personally never had an issue picking up multiples of characters, and with the entire variant storyline, there's even more of an excuse to do that. For Hot Toys with this specific line, there were a couple of key things that I noticed, right? I think one, the show was one of the better hits from Phase 4. Everyone, fans and critics alike, seemed to really like it. And Loki has always been one of those characters that just connected with people. And speaking of the character, not even getting into all the details of Season 2, he has to have one of the best character arcs overall in the MCU. Which is what really makes him that kind of likable character. I mean, he basically went from minor villain to major villain to slight anti-hero, culminating in probably one of the most heroic moments, not just in Loki, but in the MCU. So Hot Toys went far deeper into the line than I thought they would, giving us TVA Loki, Sylvie, and then also giving us President Loki and Classic Loki. To be honest, the only character that I'm surprised Hot Toys didn't do was He Who Remains. I mean, he was essentially our first Kang variant, although obvious current events relating to Jonathan Majors may have negated some of that push for Kang figures. Although at the time of the show airing, I don't think those issues were at the forefront. Having said that, there is a third party, He Who Remains, but he was supposed to come out a while ago. Frankly, since it's also a new company, I'm curious if they just canceled it. I personally ended up not ordering that one just because I didn't think it looked that great. Even though I do pick up a lot of figures, I still try to think that I have some standards, although you might argue that my collecting standards are terrible. So that's I might agree with you on that one. So look, I'm not going to do full reviews on these. I'll give you some quick thoughts, but if you want more in-depth looks, I reviewed all of these on the channel earlier, so please go check those out if you're interested. But again, the point of the videos is to kind of showcase the entire line. And I said this when I was unboxing them and reviewing the pieces, and my thoughts haven't changed. I think for Marvel, this is easily one of the best lines that Hot Toys has done. I think the only one that might surpass it would be the No Way Home line, just based on the sheer number of figures being released, and each one of those, if you get a deluxe, is just a massive piece and really impressive. But Loki Season 1, let's focus on these. And it's a great job by Hot Toys here. And it all comes down to the sculpts. All 4 figures have to be some of the best sculpt work we've gotten from Hot Toys. And they've had a ton of opportunities to really refine their Tom Hiddleston Loki sculpt. And these really feel like the culmination of that. TVA Loki, which could easily be disregarded as just a guy in a suit, that figure still has one of the best likenesses to Loki ever, and it's far from a boring piece. Just looking at the accessories and even the TVA variant windbreaker, first of all, they loaded him up with so many different display options, and just everything here looks fantastic. Sylvie too, while I thought she was kind of wasted in Season 2, in Season 1 she was essentially the second protagonist, and Hot Toys did an amazing job with her sculpt. I mean, to me she looks like Sylvie on the show, so it's another one where Hot Toys nailed the likeness, and just like TVA Loki, she's fully loaded with accessories and different display options. For her, the only thing I didn't care too much for was the material selection for her sleeves, since I feel like long term that could be a problem, but again, beautiful figure. And then we get the variants, right? Classic Loki, I was really happy to have him, just because in that first season, at first it's almost ridiculous to see him dressed in that classic comic look. But he has a nice little arc himself, terminating with him creating that projection of Asgard and having that standoff with the Guardian at the end of time. Such a great scene for essentially a cameo character, but I loved it. And again, in figure form, you get 2 different faceplates that look amazing. It's a much simpler release without many accessories, but it's still just, it was a great job by Hot Toys. And the surprise for me easily was President Loki. I mean, he was essentially one scene that lasted for a few minutes, if that, and yet again, Hot Toys could have phoned it in and just reused the TVA sculpt and repackaged. And instead they created this amazing piece with that manic laugh that kind of defines him as more of a villain. Again, a little light on the accessories, but you're getting this piece primarily because you like the variant character and his scene. Now look, between all the Lokis, there's a lot of reused pieces like the blades, the magical effects, the hands, but even with that, it doesn't feel like you're getting a cheap package. And all together, the set just looks incredible. And honestly, I don't know that I'm going to separate these out from the eventual Season 2 releases, because if you've watched the show, it really is one continuous story. And with some of the poses, this is why I love 6 scale figures. You get a chance to really try and recreate some great looks and some great scenes from the show. And by no means am I the best at posing. I try, but there are a lot of other people out there that really excel at that. I'm going to give a shout out to Iron Logan, for example. He does a great job with those things. And look, with all the accessories, the backdrops, the posability of the figures themselves, you really can achieve a lot. So easily one of my favorite sets of the year. Each figure just looks great, and Hot Toys did an amazing job with everything from the accessories to the sculpt. So honestly, I'm really excited to see what Hot Toys has in store for us for the Season 2 releases, especially given that Loki does seem to be that crown jewel right now for Marvel, and to a degree, I'm guessing Hot Toys. And when you see these figures lined up, it's a great reminder of why I still think Hot Toys is king of the game. So that was a quick look at the entire set of figures released from Season 1 of Marvel's Loki. Let me know your thoughts, and as always, thanks for watching, and if you are enjoying the content, please consider dropping a like, comment, or subscribing, and we'll touch base on the next video.